Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 686, The Last Light. Intermediate. The sky was always grey now. Nobody could remember the last time they had seen the sun. Thick clouds hung low over the silent city, and the tall buildings stood like black teeth against the endless gloom. Streetlights buzzed weakly, their glow pale and tired. Maya walked quickly through the empty streets, holding her coat tightly around her. She had just finished her shift at the power centre, where she helped check the city's last working energy towers. Everyone depended on those towers. Without them, the little light they still had would disappear. People no longer lived in houses. Everyone stayed in crowded towers with no windows. Windows were dangerous. They let in the cold wind and the poisonous rain. At night, the sound of the wind screamed through the broken streets, and people whispered stories about the time when the world had been warm and bright. Maya had grown up hearing those stories. Her grandmother used to tell her about the sun, a golden ball in the sky that gave light and warmth. Maya had never seen it, but she liked to imagine what it would look like. That evening, as she reached the power centre, she noticed something strange. One of the towers was flickering. The light at the top blinked on and off like a tired heartbeat. If the tower failed, the whole city could fall into darkness. She climbed the metal stairs as fast as she could. The wind pulled at her coat, and the air tasted like metal. Inside the control room, she found an old machine flashing red. "System ending," the screen said. She pressed every button she knew, but nothing worked. The city's power was dying. She took a deep breath. She remembered a story her grandmother had told her about an emergency switch that could restart the power for a short time. Nobody had ever seen it, but Maya believed it must be real. She ran down to the bottom of the tower, past broken pipes and piles of rust. There, half covered in dust, she saw a red lever. Her heart raced. She pulled it down with all her strength. For a second, nothing happened. Then slowly, the lights around the city began to grow brighter. The grey clouds above seemed to thin, just a little, and a pale yellow glow touched the sky. People opened their doors and came outside, faces lit by something they had not felt in years. Hope. Maya stood at the base of the tower, breathing hard, looking up at the light. She knew the power would not last forever, but she also knew that she had given the city a chance. Maybe tomorrow they could build something new. For the first time in her life, Maya smiled in the light. Vocabulary notes. Flicker, verb, meaning, to shine or burn with a quick, unsteady light. In the story, one of the towers was flickering. Example sentence. The candle flickered in the cold wind. Similar words. Blink, flash, shimmer, sparkle. Tip. Flicker can also describe something weak or uncertain, like a flicker of hope. Gloom, noun, meaning a state of darkness, sadness, or lack of light. In the story, stood like black teeth against the endless gloom. Example sentence. The old house was full of gloom after sunset. Similar words. Darkness, shadow, murk, dimness. Tip. Gloom can also describe a sad or hopeless feeling, e.g., the news filled the room with gloom. Crowded, adjective, meaning full of too many people or things in a small space. In the story, everyone stayed in crowded towers with no windows. Example sentence. The train was so crowded that I couldn't move. Similar words. Packed, busy, jammed. full. Tip: crowded often has a negative feeling, uncomfortable or lacking space. Poisonous, adjective, meaning containing or producing something harmful or deadly. In the story, they let in the cold wind and the poisonous rain. Example sentence: some mushrooms are poisonous, so you must be careful. Similar words: toxic, dangerous, harmful, deadly. Tip: poisonous can describe things in nature, chemicals, or even air or water. Lever, noun, meaning a handle or bar that you push or pull to make a machine work. In the story, she saw a red lever. Her heart raced. She pulled it down with all her strength. Example sentence: the engineer pulled the lever to stop the machine. Similar words: handle, switch, control, bar. Tip: levers are common in mechanical systems. Pulling or pushing them usually starts or stops something. I'm going to try something different today, a multiple choice quiz about different things from the story. See how you get on. Answers are at the end. Don't cheat! Quiz. According to the story, why did people no longer live in houses with windows? Is it answer A, to conserve the city's limited energy? B, to protect themselves from the cold wind and poisonous rain? C, to avoid hearing the screaming sound of the wind? D, because there was no sunlight to see outside? Hint: consider the environmental dangers described in the third paragraph of the story. What was Maya's primary role at the power center? Was it A, to operate the emergency power lever? B, to repair broken pipes and rusted equipment? C, to tell stories about the sun to keep morale high? Or D, to check and monitor the city's energy towers? Hint: think about what the text says Maya had just finished doing at the beginning of the story. What inspired Maya to search for the red lever at the bottom of the tower? Was it A, it was part of her standard emergency training? B, she saw a diagram for it in the control room? C, a story her grandmother had told her? Or D, she found it by accident while running from the wind? Hint: recall where Maya got her knowledge about the world before the gloom. Based on the vocabulary notes and the story's context, a flicker of hope would most likely mean A, a small uncertain sign that things might get better. B, a quick flash of anger or frustration. C, a strong and confident belief in success. Or D, the final moment before all hope is lost. Hint: the vocabulary notes provide a tip on how the word flicker can be used to describe more than just light. What was the immediate effect of Maya pulling the red lever? Was it A, the sun immediately appeared through the clouds? B, the tower she was in collapsed from the power surge? C, the screen in the control room changed to system restarting? Or was it D, the city's lights grew brighter and a glow appeared in the sky? Hint: focus on the paragraph that describes what happened right after she pulled the lever with all her strength. Which word from the vocabulary list best describes the feeling of the endless gloom mentioned in the story? Was it A, poisonous? B, crowded? C, lever? D, murk? Hint: review the similar words section in the vocabulary notes for the word gloom. Answers: B, D, C, A, D, D. Story written by ChatGPT AI. image created by ChatGPT AI. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're focusing our lens a bit differently. Not a huge data set, but one really potent source.
That's right. We're looking at the short story, The Last Light.
A story that just drips with atmosphere. It's set in this, well, visually intense, pretty bleak future.
And our mission here is less about just retelling the plot and more about digging into how it works. How does the language build this whole dystopian world?
Right. And specifically how it delivers this single crucial moment of hope against, well, frankly, overwhelming odds.
Exactly. We're looking at the world, the central threat, and Maya's active defiance, how the words make us feel it.
So let's start with that world. The feeling of dread, it hits you straight away, doesn't it? It's all visual.
Oh, absolutely.
The sky's always gray, always. Nobody's even seen the sun or remembers it.
Yeah, that lack of light is fundamental.
And the source gives us this image, the buildings. Tall, stark, like black teeth against the endless gloom.
Wow, yeah. That's powerful. It's not just background. It feels, I don't know, aggressive somehow. Like the city itself is decaying, but still biting.
And that decay isn't just aesthetic, is it? It ties directly into how people have to live.
Exactly. The environment isn't just sitting there. It's actively hostile. People are crammed into these crowded towers. And get this detail. Windows are dangerous. You can't have them because they let in the cold wind and, crucially, the poisonous rain.
Poisonous rain. Okay, so the threat isn't some abstract monster. It's literally the air and the water.
Right. It grounds the whole thing. This isn't sci-fi fantasy. It's about the failure of basic protections against a hostile nature. That's real dystopia.
So the outside world is bad enough, but then the immediate crisis comes from within, from the very thing meant to keep them safe.
The power center. Yeah.
Maya works there.
Yeah.
It's the city's last, working energy source. Everything depends on it.
And she finds one of the towers failing.
Yeah, the light on top is flickering. The story says on and off like a tired heartbeat.
Oh, that's good. Humanizing the machine right as it's about to die.
Gives it that sense of fragility, doesn't it? Like the city's life support is just giving out.
And inside, the tech confirms it. No subtlety. Just this blunt message. System ending.
Terrifying. If that tower goes, the whole city plunges into darkness. Permanently.
And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Maya doesn't, run a diagnostic or follow some modern protocol. The system is already telling her it's ending.
So what does she do?
She acts on, basically on folklore. A story her grandmother told her about some kind of emergency switch. Forgotten technology.
Wow, okay. So it's old knowledge saving them, not the current feeling tech.
Precisely. It's memory versus the machine. History providing an answer when the present has none.
Which leads to the big moment.
Yeah.
She relies on this old story, runs down through the decaying facility.
Past all the signs of breakdown.
And finds it. This red lever. Just like the story said. Half buried in dust.
An analog solution in a digital failure. Simple, physical.
And she just pulls it with everything she has.
Yeah. And the effect. It's immediate, but also subtle. The lights inside get brighter, sure, but the real impact is outside.
The sky.
The gray clouds seem to thin out just a bit. Enough for this pale yellow glow to touch the horizon.
A pale yellow glow. After endless gray, that must have been huge.
Huge. It's the contrast that matters, from total gloom to just a hint of warmth, of color, and the reaction tells you everything.
People came out.
Yeah, they came out of the towers, stood there looking up, their faces lit by something they hadn't seen or felt in maybe generations.
Hope.
Hope. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Generated by that tiny shift in the sky.
But it's a fragile hope, isn't it? Maya knows. The story makes it clear.
Oh, absolutely. She understands the power won't last forever. It's a patch, not a cure.
She didn't fix the poisonous rain or the gray sky.
No. She just bought them time, gave the city a chance, maybe a moment to breathe. And the story ends on that note, doesn't it?
Yeah, the final thought. Maybe tomorrow they could build something new.
Right. It's not a guaranteed happy ending, but it's the possibility of one. She restarts the heart. Maybe now they can figure out how to heal the body.
Which brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about Maya's world, this reliance on a single, dusty, almost forgotten piece of old knowledge or tech to save everything. What critical, maybe archaic, maybe overlooked piece of knowledge or even physical infrastructure is quietly holding our own complex systems together right now that we've maybe forgotten about.
Yeah.
What's our red lever?